Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Stealer, and the moon is in Aries, while the sun is in Virgo. Welcome to the hyper accelerated transformation and integration process, or rather, transformation process within as a part of said integration process that, given the conjunction and aspects we're moving forward with, will not only hyper accelerate the process with which you will now begin to harvest and see all the work you've done the past 2 weeks literally just come together, but also have you see the most growth in your behavior and the 6 months of work you've done to harvest the next 6 months of blessings as you reap what you sow. Okay. During this process, there'll be perhaps seemingly a more extreme or possibly higher aversion to certain convictions aligned in integrity that you do. And there's no need to waste time for people projecting from the outside looking in. These are people who want their cake and also to eat it too. So anyone who with their actions have decided what they're talking about isn't worth putting in the work to actually operate from inside instead of projecting from the outside looking in, which is an illusory component of this society that we've normalized and made a part of culture because a bunch of idiots run and consume this culture. Just keep it moving. Like, you can potentially let this really derail you and affect and impair your decision making, or you could just move forward. Shout out to Isis, by the way. Line my hair up. Okay, I'm going the Afro route. So I'm glad I could clean it up during Virgo season. Shout out to the gray hair gang. Had gray hair since 13. Capricorn Moon Club, holla at me. So yeah, this is definitely set to be very powerful. We just had the moon on Neptune, which preceded the moon on Saturn in Aqua, and then the moon on Pluto in Capricorn. So you have the cardinal Cap, the fixed Aqua, and then the mutable Pisces. And now we're kicking off the cardinal Aries, the fixed Taurus, and the mutable Gemini as things happen in threes like that. So now that we're kicking off this activation of this new cycle in Aries, the moon that's on Jupiter and Chiron on its own is hyper evolving. Like, evolution would just be Jupiter, but hyper evolving with Chiron, and also the sextile to Saturn and square to Pluto is adding so much pressure to the expansive element of, are you ready? With the moon in Aries, your understanding of who you are. Because now you've harvested a brand new lifestyle and routine. You're getting ready to apply techniques that maybe when you started to learn, you didn't get the results you wanted, versus now you're getting those results and more. You're making more market improvement while detaching from any need of illusory results. So it is a fact that with this full moon, you have now begun the process from moon in Pisces to moon in Gemini, all right, full moon to third quarter square, of harvesting this perspective. And so the understanding you have of yourself, now that you are harvesting the total completion of new behavior, the new moon in Virgo that has completed in Pisces, your understanding of yourself is evolving so considerably throughout this transit that the eighth house nature aspect and mathematical angle and dynamic to the sun in Virgo will collectively, along with everyone else who's going through this, transform how Virgo, Aries transforms Virgo. This understanding of yourself, moon in Aries, is going to transform how you exemplify who you are and what you do. Okay? Kind of like how the way Peter Parker lives his life, now that he accepts and understands himself as like a metahuman street level entity. I'm not even gonna say street level, but like someone who has superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Like now this is the facet of the transit that eighth house of transformation will take the understanding of the expansion and healing of your individuality and identity, okay? As in every month that this happens, this is a firmware update where you understand more about yourself every month. And then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces, and you'll understand more about the belief of yourself. It's going back into Aries. Like this Jupiter and Aries cycle for all the moon in Aries that we have is going to evolve you so much. And because Virgo is very sensitive to this analysis and details, you're going to notice it. You're going to notice it. It's going to be like that anime trope where like in a few short week or two, you've come into so much expansive growth. It's going to blow your mind. But what's going to transform is the MO of how you do what you do. Now, on a note of transits, you'll hear people who have no experience reading astrology. It's mind-blowing to me how people who have no experience reading charts, knowing what transits are, knowing what signs come after other signs, have the most to say about the efficacy of astrology. It's madness. It's literal stupidity. But you'll hear some of these people allude to how, oh, planets don't affect you, so the moon in Aries has nothing to do with how you're behaving. And the way astrology works is not planets in the sky affecting you with their rays. The way astrology works is the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn that is created by the Earth's ecliptical path and the Earth's equator, celestial equator, and the sun's ecliptical path. They intersect, they create the seasons. And so it's the mathematical angles between the planets and the language transpersonally that they share from above and below. So it's not really because of planet transits, it's not really because of planet rays, even though there are effects from the planets, but that's not what makes transits accurate. It's not because they fall in any constellation. The mathematical angle of the moon that will make it to the exact degree of the sun where it kicks in the quincunx is similar to the language that ancient farmers would look at with full moons, so that based on lunar cycles, they know how to affect their crops. It's really just the language. However, what creates the symbolic nature of how this impacts what you go through down here, bearing in mind that scientists have begun to prove that seasons affect temperament. If the season you're born in affects your temperament, the zodiac sign colors in exactly how your temperament is affected. So what's really important to establish here is when you listen to transits, even people who dabble in astrology but don't really understand the mechanics and science behind it will present this in a more fortune-telling way. Like anyone who reads astrology like a fortune teller is a fraud. Like they don't understand the mechanics. This is space meteorology, guys. So when I'm talking to you about these transits, I'm not really giving you advice. I'll give you my advice independent of it, but I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know or you can't make your own decisions with. It's something that's very misunderstood with transits. And so this transit that's happening is affecting everybody. Just like if I was a meteorologist and I said, it's gonna rain today. Well, just substitute the weather patterns I'm showing you with, we're going to have light precipitation falling on your head and you might want to cover up. I'm giving you advice, you know what I'm saying? But you don't have to wear a poncho. You don't have to wear an umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Your natal chart is your response to the objective transit, okay? So everyone has a unique natal chart, but then objectively, the moon is in Aries. And I'm not talking about the constellation. It's probably in the constellation of Pisces right now. I'm talking about the moon is in Aries. Okay, the zodiacal space. That's objective. That's science. The sun, whether it's in the constellation of Leo, is in Virgo. That's science. That's measurable. That's objective. The meteorologist is telling you it's going to rain. However, your natal chart is unique. So the way everyone reacts to that weather synopsis is different. Some people may decide to go out with an umbrella. Some people may decide to go out without an umbrella. Some people may decide to wear a poncho. The way you react to this objective transit is all up to you. And that's where you want to be careful with asking people for advice about what to do based on that. Our job is just to, like a meteorologist, let you know, hey, this is what the weather is going to look like. And so the moon in Aries on Jupiter is literally inflating your understanding of who you are. But because the sun is in Virgo, giving this social summertime awareness of how to integrate this identity through the method of real social dynamics, Virgo, all right, you will be analyzing how this evolution of understanding more than ever who you are, your super self, is transforming how you behave. Then the moon's going to go into Taurus, and you're going to see practically and super really with Uranus through your body language how you have evolved and how you have ascended and how your harvesting of this new perspective is bringing your physiology to the next level. And there's a lot more to speak on that because Uranus and the North Node are going to align higher supernatural mechanics down to your ability to, at more split and picoseconds at a time, analyze data, process information more clearly and efficiently. It's very subtle stuff. All of that's going to be based off of the main lesson of this transit. Have you accepted who you are? And I don't mean in a figurative sense about you having flaws or you having gifts. I'm talking about your identity. You have been revealed supernatural and metaphysical understandings outside the box of a label, a name, a nationality, a culture, a sexual orientation, all this bullshit that you are made to believe you are, but you never were. You are soul before any of that. So you are understanding based on your real experiences what you are, who you are, what your name is. It might scare some of you. This might be a lot bigger. Jupiter is pushing you beyond how you used to understand yourself. Chances are many of you have been playing it short, but like you're not here to do that. So you're going to come into, or you are currently coming into very radical and meaningful understanding post the moon, Neptune and Pisces of who you are. And the key thing here with this quincunx is it's one thing to understand who you are, because we did this before in Leo season, and the ninth house helped you see the higher self of you. But it's another thing to actually see you behave like that. It's another thing to understand that you are who you are through the lens of you actually really bringing that behavior into reality. This is going to transform your psyche. And then the moon going into Taurus is going to have you protrude through your own physiology and body language. So you are effectively, in harvesting this new behavior, breaking in to your identity and psyche, the new super you. There's nothing new under the sun. So a lot of this new you is really who you have always been before your child self had the ability to integrate this through your adult self. Okay, there's so much more like supernatural, superpower, extra dimensional, quantum, blah blah blah, jargon, ways to really talk about this. And this is where your own experience will fill in those blanks. But you really want to take account for the evolution of how much more you will understand yourself and have direct application through this Virgo sun. Mercury, that's going to be retrograding in Libra, will reevaluate how you communicate to people this, because you're going to recognize you're more powerful than you understood. And now the way you project and communicate that to people is you're changing that. Your approach is changing. And now this is beginning the process through the harvest period from full moon to third quarter square of completely changing the way people see you. Okay, the receipts are out. Like, I know some of y'all are seeing my beard. Like, I don't know, the piece dealer was looking pretty scruffy before, but his mustache is looking kind of cute and his lineup is looking kind of cute. He can get it. I know some of you ladies is looking at me like that now. You're trying to change, starting to change the way you see your boy. There's more to come. Okay, but without me getting too vain, it's not Libra season yet. Without me getting too vain, Godspeed. This is going to help you understand a lot how to activate more greater application of superpowers en route to transform your whole lifestyle. You stay blessed.